The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Health Department has reiterated that so far, there is no community transmission of the Omicron subvariants in the country. DOH spokesperson Maria Rosario Vergeire made this clarification after the agency detected 10 new cases of the two Omicron subvariants in the Philippines. 7 new cases of the BA.2.12.1 subvariant were reported, along with 3 additional BA.5 cases.
When we talk about community transmission, ito yung pangmalawakan na, there are clustering of infections, tapos wala na tayong masyado makitang linkages between and among cases. Malaki ang probabilidad na baka may local transmission na dahil wala tayong nakikitang international sources, but definitely wala pa tayo dun sa stage ng community transmission.
In other news, the Trade Department says that the prices of some commodities could go up in the coming weeks. In today's Laging Handa briefing, DTI Undersecretary Ruth Castelos said 3 manufacturers have requested an increase in the suggested retail prices of basic goods, including bread, detergent bars, and sardines. Castelo added that the price hike will range from 25 centavos to 1 peso and 50 centavos. The agency is still studying the requests as they have to balance manufacturing costs and the impact on consumers.
Kami na ang tumatawad sa manufacturers para sa consumer. Para pag nilabas mo yung presyo, ito na talaga yung pinaka-reasonable, ito na yung pinaka-pwede at pinaka-affordable na magiging presyo para sa consumers na hindi naman lugi ang manufacturers. Dumadaan nga sa masusing pag-aaral yan. It takes us 4 to 6 weeks yung SEC para mag-aral nitong mga presyo na to para sa isang produkto.
And the camp of President-elect Bongbong Marcos has filed his statement of contributions and expenditures. Marcos Jr.'s camp said that he spent 623 million pesos for his campaign. This falls within the allowed limit of 674 million pesos for presidential and vice presidential candidates. Marcos Jr.'s party, the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas, earlier reported that they spent 272 million on his campaign. The Octa Research Group is seeing a slight uptick in COVID-19 cases in Metro Manila. Let's discuss this some more with research fellow Guido David, who joins us now via Zoom. Good afternoon, Professor David. It's been a while. We know that Octa has been observing an uptick in the cases here in the NCR for a few weeks now. Have you guys established a definite trend here?
Hi, good afternoon, Sean. Yes, we are seeing a definite trend in the NCR, but it's a slow uptick in cases. The increase is about 10% in cases every week. So, for example, this week we saw about 86 cases per day on average in the NCR. Last week it was about 78, so it's about 10% higher. And there has been an increase for 3 weeks now of about 10% roughly every week.
All right. You mentioned before that there is a possibility of a quote-unquote weak surge in the NCR. Could this be what is happening now and what you're seeing?
Well, it could still gain strength, I mean, in terms of the surge. Because right now, this is still too weak to be even called a surge. We're calling it an uptick in cases because the 10% increase is not significant at this level. Less than 100 cases per day in the NCR is still very low. The concern is that it may still progress to something larger, or it may hold at its current position. What it means is that if it doesn't progress, then it shouldn't really be a concern for us. But if it does progress to a larger increase in cases, then it would be a slight concern for us.
All right. Do you think this is largely in terms of gathering data because a lot of people don't get RT-PCR tested anymore because the Omicron variants and subvariants are significantly weaker, so a lot of people just do self-testing? Could this be a factor in why the numbers are low?
Well, Sean, that's definitely a possibility. We're seeing also an uptick in the positivity rate in Metro Manila. So it has increased slightly. It's up to 1.6% from 1.5% last week. So it's a slow increase, but it's still an increase in the positivity rate. So there could be something there that we're not seeing, and that's why we're monitoring the numbers closely, and we're advising the public to, not be complacent with health protocols.
Always a good reminder to keep in mind. What about outside of Metro Manila? Is there any significant uptick anywhere in the Philippines?
Well, Sean, it has not been consistent outside Metro Manila. Like a few weeks ago, we were seeing an uptick in Palawan and Agusan del Norte, but we're not seeing it now. So we still have to see something more consistent to be a bit more concerned. Of course, the level of testing in the provinces is definitely much lower compared to Metro Manila. So in Metro Manila, we're actually average about less than 10,000 tests per day. It's not great, but it's sort of adequate. But in the provinces, some areas, have very, very low testing, and it would be difficult to determine if there's going to be, or if there's already an increase in cases in some provinces because of the low testing.
Right, so still Metro Manila as the best test case. You mentioned, of course, compliance to public health protocols still must be top of mind. Have you actually observed a drop in compliance to these minimum health standards?
Well, we haven't, observed it, ourselves. I'm hearing it from some people, of course, on the ground that compliance has decreased somewhat. Although, according to our survey, when we ask Filipinos if they'll still continue to wear face masks, even if there's decreased public health threat, 60% of Filipinos said they would still continue to wear face masks. That would include me, of course. I would still continue to wear face masks, even if the mask mandate, for example, was lifted. But so far, I mean, at least for me, if, in indoor establishments, most people still generally wear face masks. So that's something good to know. But we have to wear face masks properly. And if there's some kind of transmission of these new subvariants that were mentioned, the Omicron BA.4 and the BA.5 and the 2.12.1, we still have to be very mindful of the health protocols. We have to be cautious because, they can still cause some disruption in our lives.
Right. And what about in terms of COVID-19 recovery? The Philippines already improved its ranking in the Nikkei COVID Recovery Index. How do you think we're doing in terms of recovery?
I think we're doing great, Sean. I mean, of course, we're not testing as much, but, the economy's open. I think we're just waiting for classes to be back in full gear, face-to-face classes. So I think we're recovering. We're coming along quite well. We hope it continues, and we hope we don't see a spike in cases that could disrupt this recovery that we're seeing.
All right, there's also been a lot of calls to already lift the COVID-19 state of health emergency. Do you agree with making this call? Is it the right time?
Well, we could definitely have a conversation about lifting the state of emergency. And I think that's for the WHO and also for the next administration to decide if they're going to be lifting the state of emergency. I think at this time, a wait-and-see approach would be, I think it would be best because we still don't know what the effects of these new subvariants are. If they're going to trigger an increase in cases. So I think it's best to just wait maybe a few weeks or a few months or so, and let the next administration determine that.
Right, so still erring on the side of caution as usual. Thank you for your time and your insights, Octa Research Fellow Professor Guido David. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.